Welcome everybody to Ortmeyer Stadium. We're here with the SCIAC matchup between the Laverne Leopards and the Redland Bulldogs. Should be a good matchup. I'm Miguel Navarro with my partner Layla. How are we feeling for the game today, Layla?
Super excited to be out here today, Miguel. Very exciting matchup, as you mentioned. The Leopards won their first game since 2023 last weekend against their crosstown rivals, Pomona-Pitzer, going into this game 1-4 in conference play. Redlands, on the other hand, is on a 3-game win streak, giving them a record of 3-2, being tied for first at the top of SCIAC.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good matchup. I know the Leopards' record says 1-5 overall, but the way they've played has been great. Here's some players to watch into the game. We got number 31, Dart Martin, the linebacker with 43 tackles, giving him third in SCIAC, 1 sack as well.
Here's the standings once more. Cal Lutheran and Redlands being tied for first. Another player to watch here is number 15, Tyler McCowan, 86 attempts, 260 yards, 3.0 average, 43.33 yards per game with 3 touchdowns.
And the wide receiver, the star wide receiver for Laverne, number 2, Jimmy Rumsey, 30 receptions, giving him first in SCIAC. He's averaging 16.7 receptions a game, 501 yards, 83.5 yards a game, and 6 touchdowns.
And here's another player to watch, number 12, Brian Rudden, 127.18 rating, 52 CMP, 84 attempts, 1 interception, 598 yards, 99.7 yards per game with 2 touchdowns.
And once again, Dart Martin, another good player to watch, 43 tackles, third in SCIAC. Jonathan Scott as well, the linebacker, 35 tackles.
And here for the Redlands player to watch, number 21, Ja'Kai Torres, running back, 72 attempts, 308 yards, 4.3 average, 44 yards per game with 2 touchdowns.
And the wide receiver to watch out for Redlands is Kev Marcassian, 12 receptions, 1 reception a game, 227 yards, 32.4 average with 3 touchdowns.
Toby Schmidt, the quarterback for Redlands, number 9, with a 132.68 rating, 65 CMP, 103 attempts, 2 interceptions, the 133 average, 665 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
And the linebacker, Jaden Thorne, has been a big player to watch for Redlands. He has 46 tackles on the season, giving him 5th in SCIAC with 2 sacks. Also, another person to keep an eye on is Lawrence Williams, a defensive back with 39 tackles and 1 interception on the season. So the story of this game, Layla, for sure, is definitely going to be the fact that Laverne is coming off their first win. We talked to Coach Sanchez. Something that he really emphasized to us is just being able to get that weight off his shoulder for that first win. I think that's something very valuable for him and the team, and they're looking to build momentum off that.
Absolutely. Coach Sanchez mentioned that the team is keeping an OTP, an organized thought process, while prepping for today's game. Doesn't matter what happened last week, they're just ready to continue play and see what they can do for the rest of the season.
Well, for sure. And I think being able to get that win, especially on the road in the dominant fashion that they got it in, I think that's just a big motivation throughout the rest of the season. Yeah, going back to what we were talking about, Layla, very exciting matchup. These are two teams on winning streaks, I guess you could say, because this Redlands team is coming off an 0-2 start in conference and then 3 straight wins, capped off by a double overtime win last week. What kind of momentum are they looking to build?
Just keeping their mind clear. Like you mentioned, there was 2 overtime wins, and obviously no team wants to get to that point, but the power to get it done and stay awake through the entire game is what's been fueling this team. And I think that if they can come to a conclusion within regulation, if not, then they got their work put out for themselves, and I think that's just a burden that a team will have to hold.
For sure, and I think for Laverne, the main thing that Coach Sanchez in our conversations with him has really emphasized about the team is being disciplined, staying controlled, controlling the football, winning the turnover battle, doing all the little things right on the football side of things. And they did that last week, and that led to the win. They really dominated throughout the game. They had them shut out through 3 quarters. They were able to get their playmakers involved, and it was just an all-around great game by Laverne, probably their best game they've played. And you got to remember, this is a team that was coming off 2 tough losses. They came off a game where they lost 23-19, where they lost on the last play, and then an overtime loss as well. They've been right there. I know their record does not look amazing on the stat sheet, but they're a very competitive football team. It's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely, I totally agree. So excited to see what these Leopards have left for the season. I know it's nearing the end. We're nearing SCIAC playoffs. However, these Leopards are not done yet.
For sure, and it looks like we're about ready to go here. Slowly inching down to the start of this game. Laverne is yet to get that win at home for Coach Sanchez, so that's something to keep your eye on, a storyline for this game, as Laverne is looking to get 2 in a row.
Absolutely. Very excited to see if Coach Sanchez can grab that win today.
And here comes the kicking unit for the Bulldogs, and the Laverne receiving team is now back on the field, and looks like we're about ready to start some SCIAC football here. Here comes the kick, and we're about ready to start football here. We got a lefty kicker, it looks like, for the Bulldogs. It's a little unique, and we're underway here. The clock will start ticking as soon as this ball is touched, and Noah Allen has a little bit of trouble with it, but he's able to get the bounce, and he still makes a few people miss. And almost a disastrous play there by Laverne early, but they're able to move along that, and here comes that Leopards offense led by Brian Rudden. And Layla, Brian Rudden's coming off a great game. 25 for 34 completion, threw a touchdown, and led Laverne to their first win since 2023.
Seeing Rudden be able to handle this Leopards offense is just so amazing, such a great story, because you know that he's been wanting these wins. He's been looking to grab these wins for the Leopards for the longest time.
Rudden's going to take the snap and look to throw on the first play. He's going to roll to his right, tries to get it off. It's deflected, but Julian Martinez, the tight end, leaves his feet and is able to make the catch there. Couple weird, funky plays for Laverne early.
Really great effort there. Honestly, any sort of momentum upfield matters, and we've known that since the very beginning. And I'm very excited to see what kind of structure the Leopards have rather than scrambling for a play.
Here comes some motion from Martinez. They hand it off to McCown, and McCown is still going and moving himself forward for a solid run. And that's another player to keep your eye on, Layla. Tyler McCown, 2 touchdowns in the last game. They really emphasize getting him the ball, and I think that's something Laverne wants to continue to emphasize, getting the playmakers the ball. McCown with 20 rushes and 2 receptions in the last game. Anytime you got one of your best players touching the football 22 times, it's a great game.
Absolutely. Why fix it if it's not broken? You know, these Leopards want to make plays happen.
3rd and 3 here for Laverne. They've been much better in these third down conversions. Rudden takes the snap. He's going to keep it and throw it short, and it's going to be dropped there. His intended target was Ronald Ropke, and it looks like a missed opportunity. Let's see if Laverne decides to keep their offense on the field. It is early.
A lot of pressure put on by the Redlands defense there. Great job by the line to stick with the pressure and put it on.
Looks like Laverne's going to elect to punt. This isn't something they really didn't do much of last week. But now they're going to rely on their punter, Jonathan Werkgeiser, to put the Redlands Bulldogs in a tough situation. This punt's going to be going pretty well. It's going to pass midfield at least, and it looks like a fair catch is going to be called by Redlands. And they're going to take over a little bit before midfield. And here comes that Bulldogs offense. A quick 3 and out by their defense. They do their job. And both teams are really just trying to get their feet wet in this game.
Speaking of the Leopards defense, Jamar Brown was named one of the top players for D3 online rankings, and he played a lot of zone last week. And honestly, he's just, as Coach Sanchez mentioned, a guy you can't run the defense without.
They're going to hand it off to the left side, and it's going to be quickly swallowed up by the Laverne defense, and they're slowly bringing that energy. This Laverne defense is a defense that they've done something that they weren't able to do all season, and that was win the turnover battle. That was a little bit on both sides. The offense didn't turn the ball over at all last week, but being able to get 3 takeaways, 2 by Jamar Brown, who was named to the D3 Athletics Player Team of the Week, I think that's big. And here's Toby Schmidt, the big, tall quarterback, takes the snap and looks to throw downfield. A little bit overthrown. He had his intended target, Jonathan Ford, downfield. And an early shot taken by the Bulldogs.
And that's what's going to win games. You know, taking shots in the dark, especially if we're going to go, if the Redlands are going to go for such a very unprecedented play.
Sure, Schmidt was actually looking for 6'3" senior Julian Walker. Schmidt now trying to evade pressure. He's met. He's able to get it off, and a big hit there by Laverne, and they're going to bring that offense back on the field.
And what great awareness, what great field awareness on both ends, you know, but the Leopards just ultimately put the tack on the Redlands offense.
That was Jonathan Scott coming into the game already having 35 tackles. He has one more there, making it 36. A big hit at that. Schmidt was able to get it out, and it was very just up in the air in no man's land. It set his receiver up for failure, honestly. Scott was able to come in and get the big hit. The punt's going to be taken, and Noah Allen's going to call the fair catch. And just 3 minutes into this game, we're already going to get that Leopards offense for the second time.
Now it's going to be important for the Leopards to capitalize on this opportunity. Obviously, Redlands is a very capable team with a very capable defense, and now you have to do what you can to get the ball into your own zone, out of your own zone.
Sure. Let's see what different approach Laverne brings here. A quick 3 and out in their first drive, looking to flip the script here in the second. They motion over Martinez, and Rudden's going to drop it off to McCown. Martinez on the sweep is able to get some key blocks there, and McCown's able to get a nice pick up there on that catch. First down there by McCown, and he's a guy you're just going to have to keep your eye on all game. Laverne's going to look to get him involved. As we stated earlier, 22 touches last week. He's already gotten 3 here early. And Brian Rudden, very efficient in his last game, 25 for 34. Expect more of the same with those quick drop-off passes. Rudden now looking to throw again. Looks to his right, he's gonna run it now. Rudden keeps the ball, he's going to the sideline. He's able to get a couple yards there to make this a little bit more manageable here on second down.
That's something we've seen a lot with the Leopards quarterbacks, you know, taking initiative. And if there's no play presented for you, go ahead and take the ball yourself, because who else is gonna get it done?
For sure. Good job by the quarterback having that spatial awareness to take what's given to him. Gets 2 yards, but it is something. Rudden's got 2 receivers to his left and 1 to his right. With McCown in the backfield. Motioning over Martinez again. Rudden's going to take the snap and hand it off to Tyler McCown, and Tyler McCown's going to barrel his way for a small gain there, setting up a 3rd down. And this is an aspect of the game Laverne has slowly gotten better at. They're 29 for 84 on the season on 3rd down opportunities, but there was a time where it was just a non-existent aspect of this football team, and now these 3rd downs are going to keep piling up. Let's see if they're going to be able to overcome it. 3rd and 8 now.
And something that Coach Sanchez has also mentioned, he has mentioned that they need to sustain the improvements on offense, you know? We have to, as a program, come together and work with these improvements.
Rudden takes the snap. He's going to hand it off to McCown. A very unlikely run, and McCown with a big run. He's still on his feet and gets himself past midfield, and a nice 1st down. That's something you don't see very often, Layla. 3rd and about medium, and they ran it off to their running back, who's able to make a big play.
Again, why fix it if it's not broken? You know, this is something that the Leopards have worked with last game, and a big part of their scoring last game was their run game.
Yeah, McCown with 72 rushing yards in last game. Now Rudden with an empty backfield after the run. Should be expecting a pass here. Rudden takes it, a quick throw. It's short and caught by Laverne for a small gain there. It looks like it was Noah Allen with the catch there. Excuse me, Jimmy Rumsey with the catch there. And Jimmy Rumsey, I mean, he has been an absolute godsend for this Laverne offense. 6 receptions for 115 yards and a touchdown last week. Expect him to get involved. They hand it off to McCown, and McCown trips up and barrels his way forward, and it looks like a 3rd and short here.
Important for these Leopards to take every opportunity they can. As I mentioned before the drive started, this is big. Scoring first, putting points on the board first is big for this Leopards team because it builds momentum, you know? This momentum is important, especially to Coach Sanchez, which is something that he's emphasized a lot.
They're able to move the chains again. 1st and 10 now. Past midfield, getting close to dangerous territory. They hand it off to McCown, and McCown, he's running angry today. He barrels his way forward for another 1st down for Laverne.
Just very aggressive there from McCown. Very awesome way to, you know, approach this dominant Redlands defense. I got this. Come and get me.
He looks very aggressive. He's lowering his shoulder, making guys miss. He's doing all the great things a running back should do. 1st down again, the 3rd 1st down of the drive for Laverne. And Brian Rudden really hasn't had to make any tough passes. That's a very positive sign for them. Rudden takes the snap. They keep the hot hand, McCown. And McCown's going to be taken down short there for a 2nd down. Laverne, another aspect as they inch closer and closer to this red zone, is getting better in those red zone opportunities. They're trying to continue to work, and being able to put points on the board are always big when you get to your side of the field. Rudden takes the snap and looks to throw. Looking to his left side, pressure's coming now, and Rudden's running, throws across his body. He had Martinez, the tight end. It goes through his hands. Incomplete, but there is a flag in the backfield.
Flag on.
See what the call is here from
Personal
the referee.
foul, tripping, offense. Number 76, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's 2nd down.
That's a very costly penalty there, a tripping penalty on Laverne. That's going to push them back 15. They don't lose a down, but what was once a promising drive seems a little tough to overcome here, Layla.
And just looks like it was an accident at that point where that penalty happened. And there's nothing you can really do about that. You can't control where the defensemen are running, you know.
Yeah, those are ones where just freak accident. It's not obviously not ideal. It's not something that you want, but you're gonna have to overcome it now. It's 2nd and 23, a lot to go. Let's see if Laverne comes out aggressive, or they could look to Tyler McCown here. Rudden's gonna look to pass. He's gonna throw it, and it's caught on the sideline, but waiting for the referee's signal. It doesn't look like he got his feet down. It was Jabari Hughes Jr. who makes the catch there, but unable to keep those toes in bound, and now it's a 3rd and very long for Laverne.
Very great effort there. Honestly, when you don't have any play presented to you, you got to make it happen somehow. And I think that was a very promising look. However, just unfortunate that he couldn't get those toes to tap.
Hughes is another guy that was big for Laverne last week. He had 5 catches for 65 yards. Rudden now trying to make something happen. Rudden keeps it here on the read option. He's got room to run, but not enough to get the first down. He's met by about 6 Bulldog defenders and taken down.
Number 12, Ryan Rudden on the carry.
Again, something this Leopards team has not necessarily taken advantage of, but really worked with these aggressive plays by the Leopards quarterbacks. I think taking initiative during these plays where you can't really find any men up the field is very important to see from your quarterback as a leader.
It's 4th and 16, and this Leopard offense doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Very, very difficult 4th down to be able to overcome. Let's see if the risk pays off. I feel like they're at a point here, Layla, where it might be too far to kick the field goal, but too close to punt it, so might as well take the chance. Rudden keeps it on the play action. He throws it to the other side of McCown on the screen. Can McCown get there? He's tackled short. And it's a turnover on downs, a very nifty play by Laverne that almost tricked the entire Bulldog defense, Layla.
Absolutely. He had that lane created for him and looked, again, like a very promising play. However, just swallowed up by those Bulldogs.
That was definitely one of those examples where the kicker doesn't have the boot to get it in for the field goal, and the punt's a little bit too close. So you want to just give it one shot to get a first down, and Laverne was inches away from being able to get it on that McCown pass and run. Here's the second look at the quarterback, Toby Schmidt. Schmidt's going to hand it off. And he's going to be taken down well short of the first down. Handed it off there to number 20, Mark Mitchell. And this is a Redlands Bulldog offense that's going to come out very balanced. I mean, so balanced to the fact where they have 42 rushing first downs on the season, and they have 43 passing first downs on the season. They really are going to mix it. Play action there by Schmidt. Schmidt's going to look to throw. There's a flag in the backfield. He gets it to his running back, Mitchell, and Mitchell looks like he might have enough for the first down, but flag in the backfield nonetheless. See what the call is here by the referee. Could be costly here for the Bulldogs.
Holding. Offense, number 44, 10-yard penalty. It's 2nd down.
That penalty is going to knock them back 10 yards. Very similar to Laverne. They get caught with a costly penalty on 2nd down.
Absolutely, yeah. And for the Leopards defense, you know, they have to capitalize on this penalty. And there's nothing that the Bulldogs can really do but hope that they can get out of the Leopards' territory.
This Bulldogs attack's going to bring out 3 running backs. Look out for Mark Mitchell. We've already had an eye on him. Whistle there. Schmidt's going to hand it off to Mitchell again. Mitchell, very nifty running back, gets low. He's able to break through for a couple more yards to make this 3rd down a little bit more manageable. But going back to what I was saying, they have a 3 running back look. We've already seen Mark Mitchell. Taylor Bowie's the other running back, and Jakai Torres is that 3rd running back. They're going to bring out a lot of different looks, similar to what Cal Lutheran did, Layla.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that right now, with time ticking and around 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in this quarter, we haven't really seen much attack yet from this Bulldogs offense.
Third and long here. Schmidt takes it. He's going to hand it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell's going to be met in the backfield. A big play by Laverne, and that's going to be a long fourth down here, and it looks like a punt coming for the Bulldogs.
Really solid job by the Leopards defensive line to just shut down the Bulldogs offense.
This is a Leopard defense that only gave up 8 points last week, and talking to Coach Sanchez, something that he's really emphasizes, that the defense is playing a lot better together. They've played a lot of zone last week, and that might lead to the big changes they've seen on defense. The punt's gonna go to Jimmy Rumsey, and Rumsey makes the catch, and he's gonna be taken down a little bit past midfield. You're watching SkyAct Football on Flow Sports and Laverne Community Television.
Now let's see what this Leopards offense has to offer. Starting at a very good spot, referring back to what they had before, and they're able to build that momentum up the field. So let's see what they can do here.
For sure, Brian Rudden. This is our third look at this Laverne offense, and last drive looked very promising. They were bit by a big penalty in the backfield, a tripping one. So let's see if they can overcome that. Rudden takes the snap and looks to his left to throw. Throws it off short to Ropke, and Ropke gets low and gets a couple more yards on that one. A nice completion there by Rudden. Really had to throw that one across his body.
Really great field awareness there by Rudden.
Second and short here. And these are these downs where you almost want to treat it like a third down. You're so close, you don't want to get to that third and short and really put that pressure on the offense. These second downs are just as important as those third downs. Rudden with McCown to his right in the backfield. They hand it off to McCown. McCown's met by a defender. He's able to evade it, and he lowers his shoulder, and he somehow gets himself back to the line of scrimmage. Almost a dangerous play there.
And like you mentioned, Miguel, you don't want to create these opportunities where there's so much pressure put, and it's now third and short. Again, one of the most promising positions the Leopards have put themselves in off of a punt. And, you know, you have to maximize what you can do on this drive, and now we're here at third and short.
This third and short could lead to a run, but we've seen Laverne do crazy things already. They had a third and long earlier, and they handed it off to their running back. Let's see what they decide to do here. They snap it. Play action by Rudden. He looks to his left, and he has none other than Jimmy Rumsey for the first down. And he's felt like reliable in this Leopards offense. Anytime you need a play, he's there.
And as you mentioned, Miguel, those sort of risky plays that Laverne is not afraid to make, and just being able to work with all facets of the ball.
And being able to mix it up is key. Rumsey enters the game with 501 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns. He had a touchdown last week. It's felt like he's had a touchdown in every game. Once again in the shotgun is Rudden. Rudden's going to hand it off to McCown. McCown bounces out to his right. And the run has been quickly shut down a couple times here on these last couple attempts.
Looks like a Redlands defenseman helmet came off. So you know what that means. That player has to come right back off the field. So we see what the Leopards could do now, implementing another man. Again, this Redlands defense is lethal.
Rudden has it, looks to throw. Once again, it's Jimmy Rumsey who has space. He makes a man miss, and he cuts inside into about the red zone.
Great strong run by Rumsey there. Just you could tell he wanted to keep on running, but was just ultimately caught up.
Jimmy Rumsey. Waiting for the referee's whistle here. About 38 seconds left here in this. But yeah, Jimmy Rumsey, another catch, his third catch of the game. 501 yards, 6 touchdowns on the season. He leads all of Skyac with the average catches a game. Motioning over Rumsey now. Rudden, he's gonna hand it off to McCown. McCown is barreling his way forward. And he gets a nice pickup there, and it looks like that's gonna be the last play of the first quarter. A first quarter that's felt like it's flown by.
Absolutely, so much going on both sides of the ball. Honestly, defensively, Redlands, has been kind of, I feel, sitting back a little bit. But you know what? Things can change with the quarters and going, especially halftime. We'll see what happens and what kind of mentality the Redlands defense takes this next quarter with.
At the end of the first quarter, the score is Laverne 0, Redlands 0. You're watching Skyac football on Flow Sports. Here we are as we enter back into the second quarter. Laverne is threatening here in the red zone. It's been led by Tyler McCown and Jimmy Rumsey with some big catches.
Absolutely, and we're so ready to see if the Leopards can, complete this drive and ultimately put points up on the board, which we have seen a big 0 this first quarter. Slowly but surely, these teams have to get their momentum going and see what they can do in this game.
Most definitely. Rudden's been very efficient in this game. He's been able to find his receivers. McCown once again in the backfield. They motion over Julian Martinez. Rudden keeps it on the read option, looks to his right. He's gonna try to take it to the back pylon. He's gonna be in for 6, a touchdown Laverne.
Again,
Brian Rudden, what a big run.
Just an aggressive approach that we've seen this in the entire first quarter by Rudden, taking initiative and running the ball himself, and obviously saw that it was fit for the Leopards' first 6 points to be run in by him.
Rudden has really been the catalyst in this drive. He's done all the little things. He's made the short passes. He's given the ball clean handoffs to his running back, McCown. It's only right that he's able to finish that with the touchdown. Here's the PAT, and it looks like the extra point is good. That was a very close one there from our angle, from our vantage point. It looked like he wasn't able to get it through the uprights, but Laverne's going to get the points nonetheless. Brian Rudden with the running touchdown there.
Something that's worked for the Leopards, especially last week against Pomona Pitzer, their run game, something that I've emphasized. These Leopards have been working with all sides of the ball and are making it happen, whether it be scrappy, whether it be clean. It's just something that they're working hard towards, and as a team collectively with Coach Sanchez. So it's nice to see that work be coming to fruition.
Brian Rudden getting that first rushing touchdown of the season. And now the pressure's on the Bulldogs.
And the Bulldogs with their dominant defense, it's obvious that they're going to be hard on themselves right now and just trying their best to get those points back.
It's going to be kicked off, and here comes the return by the Bulldogs. He's able to make a lot of men miss, and it slips up on his own. Could have been very dangerous for Laverne on that return.
Absolutely, and just a great read right there, because at that point, I believe Redlands was all the way back in their own end. So it's nice to see them being aggressive and not just, taking these points with their heels back.
Definitely. Let's see the type of fight that Redlands is going to bring. It's Toby Schmidt back under the helm at quarterback. Schmidt's going to throw it down the field, a one-on-one ball, and it's overthrown. He was looking for Julian Walker again. That's the second time we've seen that where he's tried to throw it downfield to Walker a little bit too far and out of reach for him.
Looks like we have a game clock issue. I believe the scoreboard is turned off, so.
Game clock is still shut out, but waiting for the referee signal here to continue play. Going back to that matchup, we see it's number 1 and number 1 right in front of us. It's Jomar Brown going against Julian Walker. Jomar Brown, like we said, coming off a 2-interception game. But Julian Walker is 6'3", Jomar Brown 6 foot. You get that 3-inch advantage on that side, and the quarterback Schmidt has really looked for it early on in this game. Looks like we're good to go now. As long as the play clock's going, should be good. Schmidt's clapping, gets the handoff. It's going to be taken down for a short gain there.
And slowly but surely the Redlands Bulldogs, you know, we see their fight and we see how badly they want this game. It's still early, relatively early. Now we got the play clock back. There's going to be 14 minutes and around 15 seconds left of this quarter. So fresh quarter, see what we can do here.
There's Maxi Parler, the running back, getting a touch there for a smart gain. Schmidt takes it, steps up on the pocket, throws it across his body, and he was looking for Walker again. Still not able to get Walker involved, not incomplete.
Great coverage there by the Leopards. It's going to be number 30, Trayvon Kenny. Great coverage, great awareness.
Great job by Laverne being able to get that offense back on the field. That's something Coach Sanchez really emphasized in our conversation with him, is early on in the season they were struggling to get that offense comfortable, and they were leaving the defense out on the field too long, as this punt is a really good one. It's going to back Laverne up inside their own 10.
Really favorable bounce there for the Redlands, pushing the Leopards all the way back, as you mentioned. It was a little bit scary there towards the end of the roll, almost went out of bounds, but Redlands were able to get hands on it.
Here comes that Laverne offense that's coming off a touchdown, and it was led by Brian Rudden. Very backed up here. The Leopards insert their backup running back, Nguyen. Looking to give a different look here. And then quickly, Nguyen's gonna get a touch, and he spins off. The big barrage met at the line of scrimmage, but still a very minimal gain there.
Just swallowed up there by the Redlands defense. Great coverage there by them.
Tackled by number 11, Jaden Thorne.
2nd and 10. Very short gain by Nguyen. Once again, Nguyen in the backfield. Laverne's being put in a very uncomfortable situation, trying their best to be disciplined and not lose the football on this side of the field. Rudden takes a snap, and once again, he's able to keep it, and Rudden is taken down in the end zone. No flags, it's looking like. Still no signal if it's a safety or not. Waiting for the referee. This is a big play in the game.
Moving on the field, the ball did not get out of the end zone. Result of the play was a safety.
Ball did not get out of the end zone, and a safety, a costly turnover and loss of points there by Laverne. That's just something that can't happen. We were talking about it, Layla. You got to be able to stay disciplined, not lose the turnover battle, and Laverne loses it there.
And you know, for this Redlands team to get those points up on the board, it's 2. However, this is what's going to build that motivation, build that momentum, and the Leopards are going to have to do all they can to kind of press the brakes and put a stop to it.
On that option play, the quarterback Rudden thought he saw something. He was met in the end zone, and it's costly there. It's now 7-2. Just like that, the momentum felt like it switched in the favor of the Bulldogs. And due to the safety, Laverne's gonna have to kick it off now, back to the Bulldogs.
And it's important for the Leopards not, you know, kind of sit back after that, hang their heads. Still a lot of game to play. Obviously not the way you'd want that drive to go, especially being all the way pushed back. But you know what? You have to come back stronger. And I think the Leopards defense is going to do a great job at holding them accountable.
Wertheiser boots it off. And now the Bulldogs are looking for another good return. We saw a good one in their last attempt, and once again, they're splicing through the defense.
Number 14, Kev Markosian on the return.
Kev Markosian there on the return. He's been very electric, making a lot of nice plays on these returns.
Redlands will take over first and 10 from their own 43-yard line.
And the offense is going to run back on the field here for the Bulldogs. It's Toby Schmidt. The points on the board by the Bulldogs has been led by the defense, getting that safety, and Toby Schmidt now back at the helm, trying to get something going on the offensive side. That could lead to points. Schmidt has it now. Throws it down the field. He's got a man wide open, but it's overthrown. He was looking for Julian Barreo.
I believe that's a third play that has been overthrown to a very open receiver for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's definitely, we saw it a couple times with Walker over there, and now it was Barreo that he overthrew. Schmidt has missed a couple key passes here, and the Leopards have caught a break. Could be promising though for the Bulldogs. They're getting the looks they want, just haven't had the results. This pass is gonna be thrown short, and the Leopards come in with a big hit. Looks like Jomar Brown of getting himself involved.
Exciting to see him get involved in this game, especially after that weird little juggle that happened there. There was not really solid possession for a second, but then here comes Jomar Brown to neutralize it.
Those juggles gotta feel very scary if you're a receiver, knowing that a defender's coming right downhill at your throat. And we saw it there with Jomar Brown. 3rd and 10. Can Laverne overcome? Schmidt looks to throw. Couple slip-ups there. It was Jomar Brown. Incomplete, no flags, and Laverne gets that Bulldog offense off the field once again.
And another very close call there for the refs at least. Looks like the Redlands sideline was looking for a flag for pass interference.
That's one of those tough ones where it feels like there was contact, but both guys might have just slipped on the turf and it looked like it. No good. I believe it was a good no call there by the referee as we continue play here. Punt's gonna go off. We've already seen one good punt from the Bulldogs, and Rumsey this time just gonna elect to take the fair catch. And here comes that Leopard offense, who these last two drives have been really, really interesting to analyze, because on one hand, you lead the ball downfield, you have a couple nice throws, you get a touchdown if you're Brian Rudden, but then on the last drive, you take a costly safely that gives the points back to the Bulldogs.
And I think that has everything to do with the position the Leopards were in. We hadn't seen them in that certain position this game at least. So we see the results of it, and I know that the coaches for the Leopard staff is making note of it and making sure, hey, let's not put ourselves in that position again, and let's keep building up the field.
Looking to overcome that, you got to have a short-term memory loss here if you're Rudden. Rudden takes the snap, throws it off to McCown, who makes the catch. And he's quickly pushed out of bounds.
Slowly but surely for this Leopards offense, and was proven successful with their first touchdown.
For McCown, he's really just getting himself involved. 2 catches and 9 rushing attempts. Already 11 touches in the game, and we're not even halfway through the second quarter here. A lot of energy in this game, especially coming from this Bulldog sideline that we're right behind. Rudden He's going to hand it off to McCown, and McCown is met at the line of scrimmage quickly. And a good job there by the Bulldogs, and now they flip the script on Laverne, and it's a 3rd and 9.
And here's that momentum we saw that built up with that safety. The Redlands Bulldogs are infamous for going with any momentum that is given to them, and I think the Leopards also want to build momentum themselves, obviously. So they're gonna have to do something with what they're given.
Most definitely, and this is a Bulldog defense that's the 2nd-ranked defense in all of SCIAC. They're gonna bring that energy. They're gonna make it difficult for offenses, and we're seeing it here. Rudden takes the snap, looks to throw. He gets it off quickly to Roki, and it's broken up. Another punting opportunity coming here for Laverne, and these drives have just felt like both teams are just trading punts right now.
Absolutely, and that was just overall great coverage there by Redlands, and I think there's nothing you can, as a Leopards receiver, there's nothing you can do about that. You know, maybe create some separation there. However, it was just very great coverage.
Work guys are back into punt. Both punters on these teams have been busy here. And this back and forth affair of defenses. This punt's gonna go way back. It's gonna not be a favorable bounce for Laverne. It looked like the ball just kind of stuck where it was. And here comes Toby Schmidt in that offense, who has really just struggled to get their momentum and get their footing in this game, Layla.
For sure, and you know, your only points on the board coming from your defense kind of just tells the story of this Redlands team, and I think that the Leopards have done a way better job at shutting down offenses. However, it's not, like you mentioned, trading punts is not the way you ideally want this game to go.
Yeah, and this Bulldog offense, only 15 total yards of offense in this game. They're looking to get something going. Credit to Laverne's defense for being able to battle. They hand it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell spins around, and it looks like he might have gotten a first down there.
Number 20, Mark Mitchell, the 3rd on the carry.
Looks like we're gonna move the chains here.
Tackle on the play by number 31, Dart Martin.
Mitchell's really just been the only source of offense, if any, for this Bulldog team. But they're battling, and their defense has kept them in it here in this 7-2 ball game. Schmidt's gonna hand it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell continues to make it pain on this Leopard defense. He barrels his way forward, just short of the first down.
Tackle by number 31, Dart Martin.
And Dart Martin there with the tackle. He leads the team in tackles.
Very aggressive way to go about these drives. Just put your head down and go. You can't really think much about it, especially with the history this Leopards defense has put on the board.
And they continue to run it down their throat. It's Mitchell again, who breaks a tackle, and he gets a first down and a lot more.
Mark Mitchell, the 3rd on the carry. Tackle by number 31.
And coming a day after Halloween, Mark Mitchell's been very scary on this Leopard defense. He just continues to run it down their throat and run aggressively, and they've gone down the field here with Mark Mitchell being the catalyst. Schmidt takes the snap. They hand it off again. This time it's not Mitchell. It's a short gain there. On that run, it was number 34, Donovan Maxey Parler.
Tackle by number 1, Jamar Brown. Gain of 2 on the play. 2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs.
Let's see if Redlands changes it up here, you know. Run the past how many snaps. See if they got a little something else brewing.
Yeah, a lot of running coming from this Bulldog offense. As they hand it off to Parler again, they're continuing to run it down that Leopards defense. But yeah, going back to it, according to SCIAC, this Bulldog team has the worst ranked offense. A lot of that has to be done due to the lack of passing that they've had throughout the season. They've really relied on their running backs. We've seen it with Parler, we've seen it with Mitchell, and they're getting the touches necessary to try to get them in this game. Looks like we have someone down. Was able to get up. It looks like Jonathan Scott was the injured one there.
And
Scott's going to be able to walk off in his own power there, though. But if you're watching Skyac Football and Flow Sports and Laverne Community Television. We got ourselves a good Skyac matchup here. It's 7-2, about halfway through this second quarter. It's been really just a tale of defenses. Both defenses have really kept their team in it, and we're seeing it here, but the Bulldogs are getting a promising drive going due to running. Now they look to throw. It's Schmidt finally looking and getting Walker to get a catch, and out of all the balls Julian Walker's gotten, that's definitely been the hardest one, and that's the one that he catches.
Absolutely, yeah. And, you know, to make that kind of play honestly takes a lot of confidence in your receivers and in your quarterback to place that ball perfectly. We saw that play be attempted a little earlier, incomplete. However, they were able to make the adjustments to get those toes down and be able to complete a pass.
Walker, 141 yards on the season. They hand it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell is met short of the line of scrimmage.
Number 20, Mark Mitchell, the third on the carry.
It was Jeremiah Naylor coming in to make that tackle.
Now let's see what these Leopards have to offer. You know, they haven't really been put in this position much throughout this game. Now your backs are against the wall. Redlands with a ton of motivation and readiness to obviously capitalize on these opportunities.
Schmidt takes it, he hands it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell breaks free for a big gain of first down and more. Waiting for the referee signal, he's very close to this first down.
Tackled by number 21.
Waiting on the call here, it is gonna be third down. Mitchell really hit on the afterburners there on that run. He looked super fast breaking through. Third and short, big chance here for Laverne to make a stop. They hand it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell's met. Does he have enough for the first down? Laverne players are signaling that he's short. We're waiting for the referee.
Third on the carry.
And they are gonna call him short. And now Layla, the Bulldogs are stuck with a tough decision here. Do you go for it?
You know what? There's still plenty of time left in this game as they bring out their kicking unit. However, it wouldn't have been a bad idea to maybe go for it. This is probably one of the closest opportunities the Bulldogs have had, but I do understand the conservativeness in just grabbing those few points.
The field goal goes up for the Bulldogs, and it's going to be barreled down the middle. And just like that, it's a 2-point game. And going back to what you were saying, Layla, it would have been exciting. It wouldn't have been a good idea for them to go for it in that situation. But it feels like in this game, maybe the offense perspective is the defense has been so good for both sides. You got to take any points that they're giving you here.
Absolutely, and I am a very big advocate of defense wins games. You know, defense's energy feeds offense, and we saw that the Redlands defense got the Bulldogs in this game with 2 points when there was a big 0. And now look, we have a 2-point game.
A lot of pressure now on this Leopard offense. Time is trickling down in this first half, and you're at the point of the game now where you look up at that scoreboard. It's felt like you've had control of this game, but it's only a 2-point game.
Again, just very excited to see what this Leopards offense has to offer. We've seen so much adversity from Brian Rudden and what he could do with his running and even pass play.
Rumsey's going to take the return. He's going to go to the left side, and he's met quickly. He's taken down at the 15, and that's a play that's going to fire up this Bulldog sideline. The energy of this game really did feel like it shifted after that safety, and the Bulldogs are continuing to battle here, Layla.
Absolutely, and as mentioned, this Redlands defense is not one to be messed with. You know, don't poke the bear, okay? Because as we've seen, they will give their offense that momentum and shift it over.
Brian Rudden with his running back McCown behind him. They're going to signal over Ropke. And they hand it off to Tyler McCown. McCown lowers his shoulder, and he's still on his feet. He's up the left sideline. And even though he's pushed out of bounds, he's still on his feet, throws another defender down with him, and Tyler McCown flips the energy in this game with that run.
Just a strong run there by McCown, and you could tell he didn't want to give up on this situation. He wanted to put his team at the best possible point.
Tyler McCown, very aggressive run. Rudden, play action, throws it over the head of Jabari Hughes. A lot of pressure coming there from the Bulldog defense.
Again, great awareness there by Brian Rudden. I think he just a little bit over, you know, just right there, just misses. But honestly, probably went with the best play.
He definitely had a guy there. Him and Toby Schmidt have had a little bit of a back and forth with these overthrows. McCown, that rush there brings him up to 77 yards in the game. Rudden's gonna hand it off to McCown again. They keep feeding him, but this time he's taken down for a short gain and sets up a third down.
Again, this Redlands defense is lethal. You know, we can't just rely on one thing that's been working. You have to change it up. And I think that's something that the Leopards are doing a great job of, you know, implementing different sides of the ball and just ultimately being very versatile with passing and running.
Big third down here for Laverne, 3rd and 7. We've been saying they've been trading punts. Laverne's looking to keep that punting unit off the field. This is a big third down for them. Rudden keeps it on the play action, rolls to his left and throws. It's caught, but does he have his feet down? We're waiting for the referee's signal. And the referees are gonna elect the catch, and it's Jabari Hughes fired up for the big play.
Big energy that the Leopards needed right now, and I think that that's such a great and difficult play to get done, and to have that trust in your receiver to get it done, I think is very important, and it's something that we see within the entire Leopards team.
A play like that really changes the entire mindset of this drive.
Especially for Redlands here.
Rudden seems some success handing the ball off as well as passing. This time it's to McCown. And McCown's met quickly once again, and he's taken down tough there.
Something that Coach Sanchez has mentioned as we talk to him is it's important to not play emotionally. Play with emotion, but not emotionally. You know, have a amazing catch, but you know what? Whatever, next play. You know, we can't play emotionally. We can play with emotion all we want, but emotionally is gonna tarnish your game.
Most definitely. You saw it there. Jabari Hughes made the big catch, got fired up, and instantly after that was ready for the next play. They hand it off to McCown, and McCown, after that big run, has had 3 short gains here, and another third down is going to be set up as we hit the 2-minute warning here.
All right, now third and manageable for this Leopards team. However, Miguel, how do you feel they should handle this play?
Well, I think this is definitely a situation where you might look to pass. They've had success with Tyler McCown running the ball. We saw him have a big breakaway run in this drive, but these last couple runs really haven't seen much separation for him to get room to make a play. I think right here, look to pass, get Jimmy Rumsey involved, get Jabari Hughes involved. We've already seen him make a big catch in the drive. That's something I'd definitely like to see here.
Absolutely, and I think that these Leopards, you know, they can't hold themselves back, especially with the passing plays, because we've seen run plays be utilized throughout this entire game. That's what got them that touchdown. And now, you know what, let's change it up. Let's see what we can do.
Most definitely. And now as the teams take the field again. You wonder how big is getting those points right before the half, knowing that Laverne received to start the game. If they're unable to lead with some points, the Bulldogs would be able to have one good drive next quarter, and they're looking like the team ahead. So this is a big drive for Laverne. Haven't seen much success since their touchdown drive. Looking to flip the script here. 3rd and 8. Rudden takes the drop back, met by pressure, throws it down the field, and it's going to be caught by none other than Jimmy Rumsey.
And what did we say? We needed to change it up. We needed to see that pass one more time. And obviously, this is what's gotten the Leopards as far as they have, being able to take those chances and take those risky plays and make something of it.
And Jimmy Rumsey, what an unbelievable catch. He was running down the field, met by contact, and having to come back to that ball because it was underthrown and getting low enough to make the catch. Great ball there. And that throw is going to be thrown short to Martinez. The Leopards elect to stick with the pass here as they're inching closer to that end zone.
Just beautifully read there by the Redlands defense. Not much you can do about it.
2nd and 5, and Brian Rudden seen some success passing the ball here in this drive. He's 3 for 3 in this drive alone. Rudden with McCown to his left in the backfield. Play action, they throw it short to Rumsey, who makes the catch. Very close to the first down. If not, he might have gotten it there. The timeout's going to be taken there by Laverne.
Yeah. And now, I believe, it says 3rd down.
It's going to be 3rd and 1 to go, as both teams are going to have a timeout here to recoup with their sidelines and get the strategy right, get the game plan right for this big drive. Very promising. We've seen Brian Rudden make some nice passes. We've seen some big plays from Tyler McCown and Jimmy Rumsey. This drive is literally the formula to how Laverne football is going to score. Get their playmakers involved, and they've done it here in this drive.
Being scrappy is something that I believe Laverne is the best at, being scrappy with those points. Any chance they get to capitalize on those chances, whether it be pretty, whether it be probably very, like I said, scrappy, you know, they want to capitalize on these opportunities, and I think no matter which way they get it done, it will get done.
They're going to hand it off to Tyler McCown, and it looks like he's going to be met short, instantly met by pressure. And the struggles after the big run to get Tyler McCown involved continue for Laverne, and now they have a decision to make. Timeout Laverne as they look to talk about this one and make the decision on whether or not to go for it. Layla, this is something we could stick on here. It's 4th and 3. Will they go for it, or will they just try to take the points similar to what the Bulldogs did?
You know, going into halftime with a little bit more leverage, not a bad idea. However, if you have that much confidence in yourselves to get it done, you know, if it presents itself, if the opportunity presents itself, you know, why not? And I think that's something that the Leopards should play with, is those gutsy attempts. And we saw earlier that it gave them the first down, throwing a gutsy pass, and I wouldn't be surprised if they would go for the touchdown.
Looks like the offense is going to stay on the field. I was leaning a little bit more towards the other side, Layla. I feel like this is a game where it's been very difficult to get points, and you got to take what's given to you, but Laverne's going to run out their offense, and now we have a 4th down and 3 to go. Rudden takes a snap, rolls to his right, looking to throw. Rumsey comes down with it, but does he have enough for the first down? And they are going to say it's complete. First down, Jimmy Rumsey.
there's that gutsy play that the Leopards needed, you know? And if, again, they have the confidence in each other to get those plays done, why not? Sure, I'll take that. Let's try for that touchdown.
They make the gutsy play, and the gutsy play pays off. And I love the fact that they look to their guy, Jimmy Rumsey. Every single time they've needed him, he's been able to overcome it and make a big play. Now in the red zone, 1st and goal for Laverne. Rudden keeps it on the play action, met by trouble. He throws it in the air, and it's going to be caught. Touchdown, Laverne. An unbelievable throw and an unbelievable catch by Tyler McCown.
Just setting themselves up for success here. You know, as I mentioned, scrappy, scrappy, scrappy. This team will get things done. And I think that's the perfect example of what Brian Rudden has the capability to do. Scramble play here, under a lot of pressure. However, he was able to compose himself and get it done.
What a play by Rudden. He played action and looked to his left and was met immediately and just threw a prayer ball for Tyler McCown, who was able to come down with it. And the PAT is good for Laverne. And that PAT has big value now because the Bulldogs are now down 9, making it a 2-possession game.
And what an exciting game it is. These are 2 competitive programs playing against each other, you know, tied for first. And Leopards just got their first win. Why not? Let's have a day.
Touchdown caught there by Tyler McCown. Rudden's first passing touchdown of the game. He's already got a rushing one to his name. That's a big touchdown. And the PAT makes it that much better. 2-possession game. We know that the Bulldogs are going to get possession to start the second half. Changes a lot for them. They're going to need to score 2 times now to come back in this game. Here comes Wertheiser for the kick. And this kick's going to be low in a line drive, and it's going to be caught. And he's continuing to run up that right side. He's seen a lot of success on these returns, and he's finally taken down. Markosian really has been all over the field on these returns. He's been fun to watch today, huh, Layla?
Absolutely. Now, as the Bulldogs offense creeps their way onto the field, let's see what they can do. 27 seconds left. Still relatively plenty of time with 3 timeouts left, 3 timeouts on their side.
Obi Schmidt back out there, trying to lead a drive, having to throw it, especially down the field. If you're going to want points, they throw it over the middle, jump ball, and it's batted down. It looked like Justin Mondini with the play, and it was. He's been one of the anchors of this Laverne defense, and he continues to show why. A nice play there to break it up.
Another one of those long passes there that they weren't able to hang on to. Again, a few plays passed, overthrown, but that one just was great coverage.
Great coverage indeed. Toby Schmidt takes the snap. He's going to hand it off this time. It's going to be a very minimal gain, nothing that can harm you there. And let's see if the Bulldogs elect to take a timeout. And the clock's going to continue running, and that running play is going to take us into the second half. Great half by Laverne, being able to get the lead in this game. 2 touchdowns led by Brian Rudden, led by Tyler McCown, and led by Jimmy Rumsey, giving him the lead early on in this one. We're half in. Big second half coming. Layla, what did you see from the half?
Just an exciting football game all around. I can't even lie to you. Both teams are playing great, and one is just taking advantage of those opportunities presented to them. I think that Laverne has brought that momentum and that mentality that they took from last week and implemented it in this game. However, you cannot count Redlands out. I think that their defense is still pretty terrific, and like I mentioned, defense wins games. So if the Leopards can find a way to break through that defense, I think that they're good as golden.
Yeah, something that you told me, Layla, that I think really excited me about what you said is the fact that this is a Redlands team that is willing to come back. They're willing to make that fight. They've won 3 games in a row after starting 0-2. This is also a team that played a double overtime thriller last week. There's still a lot of fight in them. The Laverne Leopards can't get too comfortable. They're definitely going to have to keep battling. But from what we've seen in this first half, especially on the offensive side, they've been able to get exactly what they wanted, which is getting those playmakers involved and just honestly protecting the football. Besides the safety, they've really kept themselves in a tight game. So at the end of the first half, the Laverne Leopards lead 14-5 against the Redlands Bulldogs. We have ourselves a big matchup here.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
The score as we enter the second half is the Laverne Leopards 14 and the Redlands Bulldogs 5. And this has been a very fun game as the opening kickoff has been taken off there.
Absolutely, and I think that Laverne's got their work put out for them with this lead and sustaining this lead, and I'm very excited to see.
The passing yards for the Leopards is 123 compared to 10 for the Bulldogs. On the rushing side of it for the Bulldogs, they have 57 while Laverne has 92. Laverne is winning the first down battle 11-3. Here we go, 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line. Schmidt is gonna hand it off, and Mitchell breaks a couple tackles and he gets himself off to a hot start in this second half.
This is something we discussed before the halftime started. The momentum that this Redlands defense has put out and their energy towards their defense can feed their offense.
Schmidt once again is going to hand it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell's been a big factor in that first half, and he continues to be a thorn in the Leopards' defense side.
Second down and 8 for the Bulldogs from their own 43-yard line.
I'll try to talk loud. Toby Schmidt in the shotgun under center. Weird bunch set to his left side. Schmidt steps up in the pocket, evades pressure, throws it down the field, and he's got a man. Nice throwing catch. He looked for Kev Markosian. And Markosian's really been a thorn in the side on the return side of things. He makes his name known on the receiving side of things. His first catch of the game.
And there's that pass again by the Redlands offense. And honestly, this is something that they've looked at for the past couple quarters to make those receptions and complete those plays.
They've definitely come out very aggressive in this second half, making the plays. Now they get Mitchell involved, and Mitchell is still on his feet up the right side, and he barrels his way past. A nice run there.
Again, that energy coming out of halftime from Redlands.
Schmidt continuing this great run here. Parlor now in the backfield. That's been the dual setup that the Bulldogs have used all game, and they've seen success with it. Schmidt hands it off to Parlor, and now Parlor's getting his name involved. He barrels his way through for another nice run.
Another strong run there by Redlands, which is something that we've seen had been working for them, at least in the second quarter. Good to see that they're tapping into that.
You could feel the aggressiveness from this Bulldog offense. They've completely flipped the script compared to that first half, and they're starting to battle here. Parlor once again in the backfield. Play action. Smith's met by pressure. He's going to roll to his right and make something happen, and he just gets rid of it to throw it out of bounds. Almost a dangerous play there.
Good on the Leopards defense to, recognize what was going on there with the Redlands offense and shut it down, at least for that one play.
Most definitely, and I think that you've seen the way they've driven down the field. If you get a stop right here on third down, you can really flip the script on the game. Hands off again to Parlor, and Parlor is squashed at about the line of scrimmage. The Leopard defenders are holding up their hands, signaling that they got the stop. We're going to be waiting for the referee's call. It's a close one here that could decide a lot of stakes in this game. Still waiting for the signal. And it's going to be called short. Fourth down now. The Leopards stay strong on third down.
This is a position that Redlands had been put in before, and they ended up settling for the 3 points. Now, you're in a tighter spot, down 2 scores, and looks like they're going to go for it.
They are going to keep that offense on the field. Great point to bring back that previous attempt. It's 4th and 1 now. Big opportunity for both sides to make a statement in this game. And the referees are going to call this one dead. And it looks like a timeout called by the Bulldogs. Could be an example of them just trying to get the Leopards defense off sides where they get the automatic first down without having to run a play.
Absolutely, and it's those small things that will put you ahead in games, just taking those chances and, okay, we'll run out the play clock just for a little bit, but again, now you have 2 timeouts, which Redlands kept all 3 last half, so I don't see why it's not a bad idea to start utilizing those timeouts.
And you're watching SCIAC football on Flow Sports and Laverne Community Television, and it's been a fun one. It's really been back and forth. These are a battle of 2 teams that are trying to find their identity in the season. This Redlands team started off 0-2. They've gone 3-2 since. They're going to keep the offense out on the field. It's Parlor in the backfield. Big opportunity for both sides. They hand it off to Parlor, and Parlor stays on his feet and scores a touchdown, and just like that, the Bulldogs are right back in it. They come out storming in the second half.
Gutsy attempts here has been the story of this game, and I think as we look at it here, we just see absolutely barreling through the Leopards defense, and something that Redlands has been able to get away with.
Coming in now for the PAT. Already made his field goal earlier, and they're going to barrel this PAT through the middle. And just like that, it's a 2-point game. Caden Butcher there finishing the drive with the PAT, and there's a lot of energy coming now from this Bulldog sideline. They're fired up. They're ready for the moment. Let's see how the Leopards respond. They got punched here. Let's see if they're able to punch back and keep themselves ahead in this game.
And it's all about confidence for Coach Sanchez as well. Coach Sanchez has mentioned that these Leopards need to have confidence in themselves to be able to complete these plays and get the job done. And at the end of the day, something that was successful for the Leopards last week was building that confidence and keeping that confidence with them, translating it into this game, which we saw in the first half. And now let's see what the Leopards have to offer on their first drive of the second half.
Joey Newell is going to kick this one off. Line drive kick, it's going to go into the backfield. Nowhere where Jimmy Rumsey can make a play on it. And there's a lot of contact going on between both sides. They're going to separate and go back to their respective sidelines. But here comes Brian Rudden in that Leopard offense. They're coming off a great drive that ended off that first half, finishing with a touchdown. Rudden's 14 for 18 in the game with 123 yards. They've also seen a lot of improvement from Tyler McCown. 15 attempts, 82 yards on the ground. Also a receiving touchdown to his name.
Very vocal Redlands sideline here.
Rudden takes the snap, hands it off to Nguyen. Seen limited action in this game, and Nguyen's going to be taken well behind the backfield.
Yeah, we just see here in the backfield, there's not really much anywhere else that the Leopards could have gone.
We have a man down here on the field. It looks like Ronald Ropke, a wide receiver for Laverne. Never want to see a player go down like this. Let's hope everything's okay. And it looks like Ropke's going to be able to get up and try to walk off on his own strength, which is always good to see.
This Redlands defense has lived up to their name and been, at least from the jump, have been involved and very aggressive against this Leopards offense. And I'm very excited to see what's going on and what's going through their heads.
One of the questions that Coach Sanchez brought up to us is, can we sustain improvements on the offense? This is a perfect example of where they need to overcome adversity and try to get some points on the board. They're met by a very aggressive Bulldogs team that's playing with energy. Rudden rolls to his right and throws it down the field, and coming back to it is none other than Jimmy Rumsey. And every single time they're in desperate need of a play, it's Jimmy Rumsey coming down with a nice catch.
Absolutely. Rumsey has gotten the job done for Laverne. I don't see why they would go to anyone else.
Rumsey, that's going to make it his 7th reception of the game. He's been all over the field. He's been a prime factor for this Laverne team. Now it's 1st and 10. Nguyen back in the backfield. Still no sight of Tyler McCown in this half. Rudden is going to hand it off to Nguyen, and Nguyen's going to try to make a play, and he's met by the linebacker and taken down for a short gain there. A lot of energy coming from that Redlands linebacker. It was number 18, Tate Kennington, with the tackle. Something that I've really noticed, Layla, is the fact that Laverne's been able to mix their passing and their offense in these plays. They've been able to get both sides of the ball involved.
And that's something that was working for them last week against Pomona Pitzer, and just utilizing all of their facets of the ball has helped them, obviously being versatile.
Rudden's going to play action, keep it met by pressure. He's able to dump it off to Jimmy Rumsey. And Jimmy Rumsey has space to make a play, and that's exactly what he does. Another first down for Laverne.
Very huge for Laverne here, especially starting this half. Now we look here, it's kind of a scramble, but ultimately gets the job done and moves the chains, which is obviously something that the Leopards needed desperately.
It's going to make it 8 catches for Jimmy Rumsey on the game. He's coming off a 6-catch performance with a touchdown last week, and he continues to show why he's the best receiver in all of SCIAC. Rudden's going to switch over Nguyen, and they're going to hand it off to him. Nguyen's going to be taken down for a short game. And it makes you wonder here, we see no Tyler McCown in the second half early, hoping everything's okay with him.
Absolutely. Things can change, you know. It's kind of scary to not be able to see one of the top players for Laverne be out there or be involved. And like you mentioned, Miguel, I hope everything's all right.
Nguyen's been able to step in and already get some touches early on in this game.
As the scoreboard looks like it's going to be off again.
Luckily, the play clock's going to continue as both teams are moving along quickly in this game. Rudden takes the snap and rolls to his right. He looks to throw. And once again, Rudden keeps it himself and gets the first down. And Brian Rudden, we've seen that twice in this game. We saw it on the touchdown, and we see it there on this big first down.
And just taking initiative there for Brian Rudden. Honestly, he's been such a pillar of support for this Leopards offense, and I think that him taking initiative is so big.
Now we have a 1st and 10 for Laverne. They're continuing to drive down this field, and something we talked about is being able to respond to the adversity, and Laverne's done just that. The Bulldogs came out of the half with a nice touchdown drive, and here comes Laverne trying to emulate it. And there's Tyler McCown, but he's taken down quickly.
You know, something like that in that situation. You have a couple great plays back to back. It's all right to, you know, attempt something different and try something new, see if a different formula is able to get the job done. And I don't blame the Leopards for trying something new.
2nd down. We got a 4 wide receiver look here for Laverne. It is a passing down. They're going to motion over one of the receivers. And Rudden's going to throw to the other side of the field. A quick ball to Julian Martinez, who makes a man miss and barrels his way past for a first down.
And Martinez there just muscled through the Redlands defenders. See it here. Just like I mentioned, muscles through and goes through with his pads down, his head down, and gets it done, gets that first down for the Leopards.
Now Laverne is inching and inching as they're trying to punch back against that Bulldog team that scored a drive, their first drive of the game. Rudden now looking to continue his dominance in the drive. They hand it off to Tyler McCown, who tries to find his way through the hole, but he's going to be taken down.
You know, now the Leopards are in this spot where it's going to be hard to get it done. You know, you don't want to take a chance with the pass play because we haven't really seen an interception. We've seen a safety from the Bulldogs defense. However, you still have to understand that this Bulldogs defense is very strong and not a force to be reckoned with.
2nd and 5 on the 10-yard line here for Laverne. Looking to cap off a great drive. Brian Rudden's made some key passes. I'd say expect more of the same here. Jump ball to the left side, but there's contact on the play. Jimmy Rumsey tripped up. Looks like he was bit by the turf monster there, and now it's going to set up a 3rd and 5.
Absolutely, just like you mentioned, Miguel, just tripped up. Turf monster must have got him.
We've seen Jimmy Rumsey come down with touchdowns. On that exact play, a one-on-one ball. Although his height isn't the tallest for a jump ball, only being 5'9", his leaping ability allows him to man up with any defender on the field. 3rd and 5. Laverne's trying to cap this one off. Rudden drops it off to McCown, but he throws it behind him and the ball rolls out of bounds.
Now we're set up. The Leopards are set up in a difficult position. You know, still got a 2-point lead. They were able to convert those risky 3rd downs into 1st downs. However, I would be okay with taking that field goal and not risking it, still keeping the lead. However, putting a lot of faith in your kicker here.
Yeah, I definitely think something you want to do is neutralize momentum, as Werkheiser's kick is going to be good. Or excuse me, it's going to be called off. No good called off by the referee. And that was one of those from our vantage point. It looked like it was easily through the uprights, but the referee had something different as it was wide left.
And something like that, like I mentioned, you put a lot of faith in your kicker, had been solid throughout the entire game, but just looks like it misses.
Something I was going to go into was Laverne being able to neutralize momentum. The Bulldogs came out of the half with the touchdown, a great drive. To be able to get those points on the board would have been big, but instead the score remains the same with only a 2-point lead, as this handoff to Mitchell is going to be stopped short.
What's good about this game is you don't just have to rely on your offense to gain momentum and to convert these plays. You can look at your defense and just say, hey, we need your help right now. Can we stop this Bulldogs offense? Get it done for us, get us back out on the field.
Toby Schmidt takes the snap and looks to throw. He's going to roll to his right, has some space to run with it. Instead, he elects to throw it short, and he's able to complete the pass. Well short of the first down. It's going to set up a third down here. That was to Nathaniel Barn there who makes the catch. And here we go, another third down opportunity. 3rd and 5. Laverne's trying to get that offense back on the field as quickly as possible. They had such a promising drive in the last attempt, trying to get them another opportunity. Schmidt, 1 for 7 in the game is this Redland offense on third down opportunities. Schmidt rolls to his left, throws it short to and he's able to make a man miss, and he gets the first down.
Really great all-around play there by the Bulldogs. There's nothing you can do about that as a Leopard player, as a Leopard's defense.
That was a very tough ball there, but that Schmidt was able to make, throwing the ball across his body after rolling to his left. He finds Parler, and Parler and Mitchell have been the key factors to this Bulldog offense. And there's Mitchell, but he's met quickly behind the line of scrimmage. A big play by Laverne.
Exactly what the Leopards needed right this second to shut down the Bulldogs offense. That is the momentum and confidence that the Leopards needed to continue on in this quarter.
Yeah, and it was Ashton Smith coming in to make the tackle for a loss. A big play by him. Second and 13 now. Schmidt takes it, looking to pass. Has a lot of time, throws it down the field, and it's caught by the Bulldogs. Big play with a big pop from their sideline.
Another amazing pass by the Bulldogs offense, something that they had been attempting all first half. Looking here, there's just nowhere to go but up the field. And a great grab by the Bulldogs.
It was Kev Markosian coming in to make his second catch of the game. We were talking about how effective he's been on the return side of things. He's making his name made here on the offensive side. Now Mitchell running towards that right side, taken down just short of the end zone, but a flag on the play. Markosian there. Unbelievable ball by Toby Schmidt. It's going to be a face mask against Laverne, and this is pretty much handing the Bulldogs a touchdown the way they've ran the ball. It's Mitchell in the backfield with Schmidt in the shotgun. They're looking to take the lead by scoring here. Schmidt takes the snap, keeps it himself, and he's in untouched. And just like that, the Bulldogs take the lead in this one. Back-to-back drives, back-to-back touchdowns.
You can't help but be down on yourself as a Leopard player. Honestly, you go into this half with a lead, and just like that, it's gone. You can't help but feel bad for yourself, but you know what? These Leopards are infamous for not getting down on themselves, not catching themselves on their heels. They have to come back out, and they have to come back out strong.
Coming out for the PAT here. This one's good. Just like that, the lead's gonna move to 19-14 with the Bulldogs ahead. Here comes the kicking unit, the receiving unit for Laverne. And Layla, something I want to talk about here is how, as a team, do you overcome the adversity they face? They've come out in the second half, they've given up 2 touchdowns, they've lost the lead. How do you bounce back from that, especially from the offensive standpoint?
Something that Coach Sanchez shared with us is confidence. They've built up so much confidence these past few games, and I don't think that they have anything to feel bad about, especially with so much game left. You know, just come back out strong. You can't get down on yourself, can't catch yourself on your heels. You got your offensive unit coming out, so you have a chance. You're not down by much.
And I think something you got to analyze in the game as well is look at the last 2 drives Laverne's had. There was a touchdown right before the end of the first half, and then that last drive was a drive where you're expecting at least 3 points. They moved the ball downfield. Obviously, they missed the kick. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, the Leopards really have been efficient on the offensive side, but they haven't been able to do it with this type of pressure yet. So let's see if they're able to bounce back and overcome the adversity.
Absolutely. However, the Leopards do have a track record of letting go these leads in the second half. So let's hope that this isn't a replay of one of those games and that they can come back out strong.
Here comes Brian Rudden at the helm. Completely different fever of this game. The Bulldogs are now ahead. Rudden keeps it and it's batted down. And this sideline by the Bulldogs has kept the energy. He's looking for Rupke there, unable to find him. It's 2nd and 10 now. Laverne has seen some success passing the ball, Layla, but a couple nice breakaways there by the Bulldog defense has made it hard for them. Rudden is going to hand it off to McCown, who's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. And right now it feels like everything's going the Bulldogs' way.
And I can say, it all starts with your defense. And proven correct, obviously. This defense has been feeding into their offense for the Bulldogs heavily.
Most definitely. We've definitely seen them continue to battle on the defensive side, especially after that last drive we saw them in the first half. They gave up a touchdown on a very miraculous pass by Brian Rudden. 3rd and 10 now. And there's looks like a hop on the Leopards O-line, and it feels like the Leopards have no answers right now, Layla.
5-yard
and
penalty.
You know what?
It's 3rd down.
They can't do much in this 27 seconds, especially when they're shooting themselves in the foot.
That penalty is going to make this drive that much harder for Laverne.
This Bulldogs sideline is hyped. There's a lot of vocal cheers from this Redlands sideline.
Most definitely. Let's see if they elect to take a play. They are going to have to due to the play clock. Rudden has it now, looking to throw. He's running for his life, a defender behind him, and Rudden's just going to keep it. And he fumbles the ball. And the Bulldogs jump on it. And just like that, the Bulldogs have the ball once again. Brian Rudden fumbles to end the 3rd quarter.
Oh, how the tables have turned. on this Saturday afternoon.
At the end of the third quarter, the Redlands Bulldogs lead 19-14 against the Laverne Leopards. You're watching SkyX Football on Flow Sports and Laverne Community Television.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
As we enter the fourth quarter, this game has completely flipped on its backside. The Leopards were leading going into the half, 14-5, and since then the Bulldogs have scored back-to-back touchdowns, and they lead 19-14. And just to make matters that much worse, Brian Rudden just fumbled the ball, and the Bulldogs are going to take over on offense.
And here we just see how powerful momentum going into halftime can be. There's really not much you can do when this Redlands team has this much energy and you're trying to neutralize, but the Leopards just are shooting themselves in the foot with that fumble, and not much you can really do here.
They're going to hand it off again. It was Parlor. They're going to hand it off to Parlor, who runs up to the right side. And he's going to be taken down by Jomar Brown, but not before a big gain.
You know, the Redlands offense just totally snowballing right now on the Leopards. There's all this momentum.
They're going to hand it off again, and Mondini there with the tackle. It's 2nd and goal. The Leopards need to do everything in their power to make sure more touchdowns are not put on the board here. Hold them to a field goal is the ideal thing for Laverne. Mitchell in the backfield. They hand it off to him. And he looks like he's short once again, and the Leopards defense is staying strong.
Now here comes Redlands in their first tight spot of the half.
Fans.
3rd and goal. The Leopards are in desperate need of a stop. Right here, base case scenario, Layla's got to be holding them to a field goal. Schmidt's going to motion over his receiver. They're going to play action. Schmidt's met by pressure. He gets it off. Do they have enough to get in? They don't. The Leopards stay strong once again, and they force a 4th down.
And I believe Leopards just had them shut down there, read the play perfectly, the coverage was there, everything was timed perfectly for the Leopards.
And it was Jonathan Scott. Who else to come in and make the play? The 2nd leader on the team in tackles. That's going to make it 7 tackles on the game for Scott. And here's the 3-point field goal attempt that's going to be put right down the middle. And the Bulldogs take a 22-14 lead.
As the Leopards offense, you have to go back out there with no clue of what happened before. You have to wash your memory, and this is a new quarter. So you have to go out there, do your best to punch back, and at this point, just regain all that confidence that you had at the beginning of the game.
Most definitely, and that's going to make it 17 unanswered points for the Bulldogs. But if you're Laverne, you got to take the positives from it being able to hold them to just 3 right there makes this a winnable game still. They are only down by 1 possession now by holding them to a field goal. It'd be a completely different story if the Bulldogs were able to find the end zone a 3rd straight time. So now there's 12 minutes and 21 seconds left for Laverne to rally this comeback.
Going out for the Leopards offense, you have to get creative. You know, I feel like the Bulldogs have read majority of the offensive plays the Leopards have had in this half. So now you got to try new things. You got to get creative and see what you can manage with a defense that's very dominant.
I think something to keep your eye on in this drive is Brian Rudden. He fumbled on that last drive. A lot of people just go away and fold in that situation. Let's see if Rudden's able to overcome that and battle his way back into this game. Rudden keeps it, trying to make a man miss. He throws it well out of bounds. And it's no flag yet. Could be a potential intentional grounding call though.
And I mean, Redlands has a good case with that. It kind of looks like there was no motive to that pass other than get it out. Let's reset where we are.
The referees here are going to convene on the call. Still waiting to see of this potential intentional grounding.
The ruling on the field is the passer was outside the tackle box and the pass did not cross the neutral zone by rule. Intentional grounding, offense, number 12. Lots of down at the spot of the foul. It's 2nd down.
Not an ideal start to the drive. They're going to take the intentional grounding call there. That's going to push them back 5 yards.
Again, I think this is a story of this half. Not a lot of penalties in the first half, I've noticed, from both sides, both teams. However, the Leopards look like they're gaining momentum in that field where taking penalties is shooting them in the foot.
Most definitely, and comes once again from Brian Rudden here. 2nd and 17. Rudden's going to take the snap and hand it off to Tyler McCown once again. And we've seen that very often in this game, him getting stuffed quickly, met there at the line of scrimmage. Third and 17 now, and the Leopards continue to make this comeback even harder on themselves as they don't gain any yards on that last play. Third and 16, a passing down. You can't help but think this ball might not be going to Jimmy Rumsey right here. Rudden takes the snap, looking to throw. He's gonna dump it off quickly to Ropke. Can Ropke get himself to the 1st down? And he's unable to there, and it's gonna set up a 4th down.
Again, you just can't really, you can't play against this Redlands defense, especially when they've gotten so much rolling for their motivation and their drive and their confidence.
Werkheiser's in to punt now. He's been active there. Laverne had fair share of punts in that first half. This ball's gonna go and it's gonna be caught.
Looks like there's gonna be a flag.
He's running up the left side and he's still on his feet. And once again, this time it was Mark Mitchell being the difficult one to tackle. Earlier in the game, it was Kev Markosian causing havoc, and there's Mark Mitchell.
Officials timeout for an injured player of the receiving team.
Wait.
Looks like there's gonna be somebody down.
We're going to be waiting here for the call here. There was a flag thrown on the play. We're just waiting for the signal and the marking of the ball. Still convening here. And Layla, right now the Leopards are down 8 with 10.5 minutes to play. What are you seeing from the team? In my opinion, you can definitely see the shift in energy in this game.
Absolutely. I feel like they have been drained from being out in the heat in November It is November 1st and it is very hot. However, that shouldn't have been a factor. You know, we're playing on a turf field. Energy should be high. However, there's just no drive being seen from the Leopards bench nor the offense. Trying slowly but surely to get those first downs and push up the field. However, it's just proven to be very difficult for them.
And I think we also got to give our credit to that Bulldogs offense. They've done a complete 180 in the game, especially with their quarterback, Toby Schmidt. Schmidt early on was overthrowing a lot of his receivers, wasn't finding guys that were open, and then you see a complete 180 when he throws that ball to Kev Markosian.
Number 24, that penalty is declined. Holding receiving team number 31, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. It's 1st and 10.
Couple flags there called.
That'll take the Bulldogs way back compared to where they stopped their play.
And those are the minor victories Laverne's going to have to take in this game. Not a lot going right for them in this second half, but this situation does fall their way, and now they're trying to do their best to get that offense back on the field.
And having to rely on the Leopards defense to pick themselves up and to pick up the team can be successful. We've seen that be proven with the Redlands defense, just being able to pick up their offense.
Schmidt's going to take the snap and hand it off to Mitchell. And Mitchell's going to be tripped up and taken down for a short gain there on the first down run. It's going to be 2nd and 7 now for the Bulldogs as they're continuing to keep their trend of scoring. Back-to-back drives with a touchdown. They follow that with a field goal, and that's 17 unanswered points for them in this second half. Schmidt's going to keep it and dump it off to his tight end, who's got a lot of space, and he's going to barrel his way through for a first down and a little bit more. It was JT Solis with the catch.
That lane was perfectly created for Redlands right there. You just see him having all that space and being able to run up the field, just creating those opportunities, those small victories for Redlands, being able to capitalize on those, and obviously have proven successful for them throughout this half.
It's going to be Toby Schmidt's 9th completion of the game, and he's starting to find his rhythm and make the easy passes as they hand it off to Mitchell. And another solid run there. Mark Mitchell's been a name we've heard a lot of today. That's already his 19th rushing attempt of the game, not to mention some of the havoc he's caused on the punt and kick returning in this game. Big second down here, especially for Laverne. They want to do everything in their power to create as many third downs as they can in hopes of getting the ball back for their offense. Schmidt hands it off once again to Mitchell, and Mitchell's going to cut inside for a small gain, but there is a flag on the play.
Almost immediate.
Number 20, Mark Mitchell.
You saw those two flags go up.
On the
Waiting for the referee here.
Offside, defense number 43 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Another terrible penalty on the Leopards. You know, you can't really be shooting yourselves in the foot, especially this late in the game. There are only 8 minutes, 25 seconds left. You're still hoping to keep yourselves in the game, but these penalties and ultimately just being sloppy is what's been setting back the Leopards.
2nd and 1 here. The Bulldogs looking to move the chains. They hand it off to Mitchell. And Mitchell's able to get it there.
Just being able to muscle his way through, as we see here, grabs him that first down, lets the Bulldogs move up the field for a first down.
And the Bulldogs are doing exactly what they need to do with the lead. Just keep milking that clock down. They've eaten a lot of game time with this drive alone. And it feels like they've already gone downfield. They're only at midfield. Still a lot of time to chew for them. They hand it off to Parlis.
And as you mentioned, Miguel, just at this point, chewing up time and wasting time on the clock has been key for the Bulldogs, especially now with their newfound lead.
That was Parler there on the run, and Parler, he's just been another factor in that backfield. We've seen a lot of Kev Mitchell, but it's also been a lot of Parler getting himself involved in making plays. Second down now. Schmidt once again hands it off to Parler. Another flag thrown by the referee.
Interesting to see who this penalty is on.
Tackle on the play by number 21, John Wisnett, the fifth.
Referees continuing here to convene. A lot more penalties thrown in this second half compared to the first half, Layla.
Absolutely. And not always the best sign.
Offside defense, number 21 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And another penalty by Laverne, and they continue to make this comeback that much harder. That's going to push them back 5 more yards, and the Bulldogs are inching closer due to some of these penalties. That's already 10 yards given up in this drive alone off penalties.
As the Leopards offense, you can't help but want to be right back out on the field, especially after all these penalties.
Schmidt's going to hand it off to Parler. And even though these runs are very minimal, all it's doing is continuing to milk that clock and give Laverne as little time as possible to try to come back.
And I don't blame Redlands for taking this approach. I think it's very smart on their end to, say, hey, we got this lead. We don't know what the Leopards have cooking, so let's milk the clock. Let's give them a lot less time.
First down once again. That's going to reset the downs, and that guarantees at least 3 more plays for the Bulldogs, barring a turnover. Play action by Schmidt. They look to throw now. He's looking for Walker, who makes the catch, and he comes down with it, and a touchdown for the Bulldogs, and that might just be the dagger in this one.
The Bulldogs have been attempting these passes all throughout the first half, and they're able to connect in the second half. And honestly, when you have something as risky as this and as big of a lead, why not go for it? I don't blame Redlands for attempting this play, and especially if this is going to build momentum for their defense.
Walker is a guy that we talked about early because some of the balls he was getting from his quarterback, Schmidt, were well overthrown. This time it was right in the bucket for Walker. He was able to easily come down with it and keep his eyes set on the end zone as he does there to find it. And that's 24 straight points for this Bulldog team as we entered this second half. They've just completely dominated the offensive side of the ball, and their defense has done a good job of keeping their offense on the field as much as possible to make this streak possible.
The Bulldogs have entered halftime hungry, and you could tell with their play style after they came out. They were down before, and now they've flipped momentum and just ultimately dominated this half. And if you are the Leopards offense, I don't blame you if you feel gutted, because it's not that they've been relying on their defense the entire first half, but it was like a back and forth situation. We mentioned trading punts very often, and I feel like both teams were going back and forth very frequently. However, the Leopards came on top going into halftime. And now we see the momentum shift, and it's very relevant to the time that we have left.
As the Leopards offense takes the field, you're watching SkyAct football on Flow Sports and Laverne Community Television. So as we enter a point in the game where it's just leaving everything out on the field as you're down 2 scores with only a little bit over 5 minutes to play, what do you expect to see from this Leopard offense?
I think they have to keep doing what they were doing in the first half. I think they have to continue to build momentum. I think the offense was what was giving the momentum and giving the motivation to the defense. They were trading. And now at this point, it's up to the offense to generate more momentum.
Rudden looked to throw. He was expecting Ronald Rupke to go up there and get it. He's unable to, and it's going to be an incompletion on the first play of the drive. This is a drive, Layla, where just trying to understand the context, understand the situation with the time left and the scoreboard given right now. This is a drive you got to leave with the touchdown.
Absolutely. And especially since the Bulldogs have been chewing up so much time on the field and on the offense, it's not like this opportunity is going to present itself very frequently in this next 5 minutes.
Rudden looked for McCown on the screen, and he overthrows him there. And now it's 3rd down quickly, and it just feels like on all aspects of the game, special teams, defense, offense, the Bulldogs have had their way in this second half. Big 3rd down coming, 3rd and 10, but I definitely think that Laverne is in a situation where they might be using this as 2 plays, having to go for it on 4th down. Let's see what the Cards have for them. Rudden takes the snap, looks to throw. He dumps it off. It looks like Rumsey. He's going to be taken down.
Just looking at that, that was a great connection. However, I don't believe it was enough to get the Leopards that 1st down.
And here comes the punting unit from Laverne. Looks like they're not going to be taking any risks here. They're going to elect to punt. Wertheiser takes the punt. He boots it off. Ball's going to bounce well short. It's going to be a favorable bounce for Laverne, and they're going to take over at about the 40-yard line. And the Bulldogs are definitely in a position, Layla, where with these last 4 minutes and 49 seconds, they can just run down this clock and celebrate themselves back to Redlands.
Absolutely, and I don't think it's any objective thought to say that this was kind of a questionable choice by the Leopards. I mentioned that there isn't a guarantee for them to have possession of the ball, the Leopards have possession of the ball, and now, as Miguel, you said, Redlands can just run the clock.
In these last 4 drives, Layla, for the Bulldogs, it's been touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown. They've had their way. And here's Toby Schmidt. He's going to hand it off to Mitchell. And Mitchell still on his feet, and he's going to bounce out, almost getting himself to the sideline. Almost an impressive run there by Mitchell. But he's going to be taken down short of the 1st down, setting up a 2nd.
That just shows you the motivation that this Redlands team has. Just absolutely muscling through the Leopards line here.
I would definitely expect a lot of run here from the Bulldogs as they're looking to end this game comfortably and let that clock continue to tick.
As our scoreboard goes off once more.
They hand it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell just continues to get fed the ball. It's going to make it 21 rushing attempts in the game for Kev Mitchell.
Again, just snowballing here for the Leopards. One bad play turns into a bad half.
I definitely expect the Leopards defenders to be very aggressive, trying to punch that ball out and force a fumble. Desperation time for Laverne and their defense. They're going to hand it off to Mitchell, and Mitchell gets another 1st down. to keep that clock ticking.
As the Bulldogs sideline is very vocal and celebrating here. And here's just again the Bulldogs doing anything they can, inching their way to their victory.
Time continues to tick. Parlor now in the backfield. Milking every second of that game clock as they hand it off to Parlor, who slips. And that was one of those plays where Laverne might have been able to get lucky to potentially force a fumble, but Parlor was able to keep hold of that ball after slipping up.
Still without our scoreboard. I don't know why they're looking at us. We do not control the scoreboard.
Schmidt once again with Parlor in his backfield, and they're going to keep feeding these running backs, and rightfully so. They've been the main reason for their victory today on offense as Parlor continues his feet. And another big run for him. He's just adding to his stat line as that ball takes us into the 2-minute warning.
And there's a scoreboard. It was not us. We are broadcasters. We do not control that. Minute and 58 seconds left here. Bulldogs just absolutely blowing this Leopards line away.
As we head into the second half, you're watching Skyac Football on Flow Sports and Laverne Community Television. Under 2 minutes left in this game, Layla. I mean, right now it definitely feels bleak, and it feels like the Bulldogs are just going to run this clock out, but we could kind of just talk about the game as a whole. The second half has just been a complete 180 in the game.
Absolutely, and it's everything to do with the energy that the Bulldogs went into halftime with, I believe. Coach Sanchez is a very big advocate in confidence and progress. Even if it does not result in a win, he believes that it's still progress and it's good to build confidence. However, you can't help but feel down on yourself after going into halftime with the lead and just ultimately letting the Bulldogs come and dominate this second half.
Yeah, and obviously you want to see those victories. You want to see those W's, especially on the stat sheet. You want to see it by your record. You want it to look good. But at the end of the day, something Coach Sanchez has shared with us is being able to build on everything every game, even if it doesn't mean winning. If you're going out and you're protecting the ball a little bit better than you did last week, if you go out and your offense looks a little bit more efficient, those are the minor victories Coach Sanchez is looking for. So yes, it does sting to not be able to leave with a win today, but you definitely feel the improvement, especially in that first half. That Leopard offense was really fun to watch early.
Absolutely, and it's just a challenge to the Leopards to see if they can hold this momentum. And again, it's the Leopards have a track record of not being able to hold the momentum into the second half.
And they hand it off to Parlor once again, and he's going to be taken down. Laverne's looking for a fumble right now.
Yeah, the Bulldogs just are continuing with these run plays, running the clock, trying their best as the scoreboard turns off again. There's really not much the Leopards can do at this point with a minute and a half, around a minute and a half left.
Minute and 49 left. Time is blown dead right now.
I don't know who the Warriors are and I don't know who the Mustangs are, but there's a minute and 49 seconds left. Maybe it's a Halloween haunting Ort Mayer Stadium. Who knows?
The running back to Jesus now in at running back. He's getting his first look at the game. The Jesus is going to be taken down quickly. Nice tackle there by Dart Martin, the team leader in tackles. Laverne. Dart Martin still getting himself involved. He's leading the team in tackles in the game as well as for the season. Laverne's going to waste another timeout there, and they got one more left as it's a 3rd and 11. Something to note, too, the Redlands Bulldogs bringing their third option at running back to Jesus. We got to give our credit, though, to Mitchell and Parler. They were big aspects on the ground for this Bulldog offense.
I believe that this Redlands team has just been all around dominant, and this is a team sport. You need all sides of the ball to be bought in to this game, and I think that's nothing short of what the Bulldogs have done in the second half.
Yeah, it felt like a completely different team in the second half. In that first half, there was definitely some vulnerability from them where they were giving up points, and the Leopards' offense was actually moving pretty good. They were met by a different force as there's a big tackle there onto Jesus. Big hit by Laverne. They're not going out easy. It's Ashton Smith taking down to Jesus there as Laverne burns another timeout, and that's going to be their last of the game.
As the snap is caught, you see the handoff here, absolutely swallowed up by the Laverne defense, just knows exactly where we're going, or the Bulldogs are going.
Big tackle there by Ashton Smith. That's going to be something fun to add to your highlight reel. Big play coming off the edge.
Very true, very true.
And jokes aside, obviously understanding that that hit was an awesome hit to look at, but those are those signs that Laverne's looking to see. You know, they want to have their guys play to the final whistle no matter the scoreboard, have that confidence, have that aggressiveness, and we saw it there with Ashton Smith coming in. You know, minute and a half left in the game, down 2 scores. The Bulldogs are just looking to run the clock out. You're still going out and giving it your 100% best and making big tackles like that.
And that's something that Coach Sanchez enjoys seeing out of his guys. Honestly, you're not going to walk out of this game with a win. However, you're happy to see that drive from your players.
Laverne is going to get possession one more time as this punt goes straight up in the air. Nowhere near where Jimmy Rumsey was stationed. It's going to bounce back in favor of Laverne, and a minute and 29 seconds remain as Brian Rudd and the offense take over once again for what could be their last chance.
And as the Leopards' offensive line, you have to be ready to bear that burden of the Bulldogs' defense, and you understand that they're hyped and possibly coming out of this one with a win, but you still have to be there for your quarterback. You still have to be ready for your team, you know?
Expect a lot of pass here for Laverne as they try to make some sort of miracle happen. As they look downfield, big mountain to climb. Rudden keeps it, rolls to his right, looks to throw across his body. He finds Jimmy Rumsey, who makes the catch, and here comes the hurry-up offense from Laverne as they're trying to preserve every second. It's going to be the 10th catch of the game for Jimmy Rumsey, and he continues to prove why he's one of the best receivers in SCIAC. Rudden takes the snap, hands it off quickly, and Julian Martinez makes the catch, and he's lit up, leading to a big roar from the Bulldog sideline.
And that's the composure you need to see from the Leopards, you know. We're not taunting here. We're just making sure everybody comes out of this unscathed as we have a player down.
It's Julian Martinez who makes the catch, and he was hit hard there, causing him to be shaken up after the play. Martinez with 5 catches on the game. He's going to be able to walk off on his own. Laverne's going to take the 10-second run off there due to the injury. It's making it 57 seconds left in this game.
Good call there by the Laverne coaching staff. You know, like I mentioned, you don't want any players unnecessarily hurt.
Waiting for the referee to give the word that we're good to go, and it's 2nd and 6 for Laverne. Here we go, Rudden takes the snap, looking to throw. He throws it down the field, and once again, Jimmy Rumsey with another catch. Make it 11 on the game for him.
Good connection here by Rudden with Rumsey. Just great way to stop the clock as well. We know you got that 10-second shave off of the time and want to make sure everybody's coming off the field safe.
Rudden continuing his trend of completing passes. He's going to throw it down the field, looking for Rumsey again, but it's going to be overthrown. And that was the home run ball Laverne was looking for, just unable to finish there.
The Leopards just seem to have gotten an unfortunate break here in the second half, and honestly, all props to the Redlands team, the Redlands defense and offense for being able to come back out here and perform.
2nd and 10 for Laverne. There's still that little bit of hope in the back of your mind that you score quick and you get the onside kick and you're able to score again, that Laverne is grasping onto here. It's going to be a jump. No whistle blown, so the ball's going to keep going. But finally, the referee blows the whistle well late. Waiting for the referee's call here. There was some movement there on the line.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down. Please reset the game clock to 43 seconds.
Just for good measure, they're going to make it a little bit harder.
And that's been the story for the second half for the Leopards team. Just making it a little harder on themselves to get plays done and costing them the game ultimately.
Yeah, I definitely think a mix of turnovers, a mix of not being able to keep momentum and giving up touchdowns back to back to back has led to this hole. Rudden throws, and there's a lot of contact there. There's going to be no flag there by the referee. He's looking for Rumsey again. Sticking on Jimmy Rumsey, what a performance he's had. 11 receptions, 126 yards, and that's coming off an 115-yard game with a touchdown. He's definitely been the most reliable option for this Leopards receiving core.
And that's all what this is all about, you know, taking the positives out of something negative and something you can see as something to bring the team down, but let's bring away these positives. What have the Leopards done that they can implement to their game, hopefully stay consistently throughout the entire game?
Rudden evades pressure, and he's looking to throw it, and that ball's going to be batted down. He's going to get a little extra shove from the Bulldogs defender there. And here on this replay, Rudden was rolling out to his left. He was running for his life, trying to extend the play, and it was batted down by the Bulldogs, and the little extra push for good measure there.
Leopards take their time.
29 seconds, 4th and 15 could very well be the last play of the game for Laverne. Instantly met by pressure, and Rudden is going to be sacked. And that's going to be the icing on the cake in the game.
Just when you thought this Redlands team was ready to call game, they just meet you with another amazing play. Now they're really ready to call game.
Time is waiting as we're just waiting for the referee to give word that the Bulldogs can run out on the field, take a knee, and leave this game with another W. After these last 24 seconds, that's going to make it 4 straight Skyac wins for this Redland Bulldog team, and they continue their hot streak after starting off 0-2.
Victory formation here for the Bulldogs.
Time's going to trickle on down. Both sides are going to meet at midfield, and the Bulldogs are going to leave this one with a W.
And you know what? It was a good football game. I'll say it. The Leopards put up their fight as long as they could, and it proved to be only till halftime. And here come the Bulldogs out with a chip on their shoulder, ready to punch back.
Congratulations to the Redland Bulldogs. The score is 29-14 in this game. There's just a lot going on in this game where it felt like the Leopards had them in the first half where they felt like they had some sort of momentum to build off of, but after that in the second half it was a completely different story. If you would have told me it was 2 different teams in each half, I would have believed you. That's just the difference in the game. And something definitely got to point out for the Bulldogs is their offensive approach, being able to finish the game on 24 unanswered points. It was led by great passing by their quarterback, Toby Schmidt. We also saw a lot of running that they were able to execute on from their whole running back core as a whole. We saw that from Mitchell. We saw that from Parler. We saw that from DeJesus, and they were all able to get themselves involved and have a very well-balanced win in this game.
And you know what? At this point in the season, you have to understand that the Leopards not very hopeful for Skyac playoffs. However, they still showed some fight, and I respect and commend them for that. But the Bulldogs just came out and dominated this second half.
Most definitely. There were some positives in this game for Laverne. Their offense in that first half definitely looked a lot better than it had looked all season. They just weren't able to ride that wave of momentum to carry them throughout the whole game. We saw positive signs with those 2 touchdown drives. Brian Rudden made a couple miraculous throws that led to that, but nonetheless at the end it wasn't enough. They weren't able to do enough in that second half, and it led to the loss today. So here at Ortmeyer Stadium, congratulations to the Redlands Bulldogs. The score is Bulldogs 29, the Leopards 14. You've been watching Skyac football on Flow Sports and Laverne Community Television.